I'm going to tell you something that the luxury automotive industry does not want you to know. The $345,000 Rolls-Royce Cullinan and the $185,000 Mercedes Maybach GLS 600 compete for the same buyers. The same people, the same garages, the same occasions. And in 2026, for the first time in automotive history, the less expensive car wins more of those occasions than the more expensive one. Welcome back to UC Car Review. Today we are reviewing the 2026 Mercedes Maybach GLS 600, and I am going to give you the most honest, most complete assessment of this vehicle that you will find anywhere on YouTube. Not because it is the most expensive SUV you can buy, not because it has the most prestigious badge, but because it may be the most intelligent ultra-luxury purchase available in America right now. $185,000, a champagne cooler, crystal glasses on a motorized platform, MBUX Hyperscreen, Burmester 4D audio, executive rear seats, and a twin-turbo V8 that makes the Rolls-Royce question feel genuinely complicated. Let's prove it together. The 2026 Mercedes Maybach GLS 600 makes its presence known through a design language that is completely distinct from the standard Mercedes GLS, and the differences are immediately apparent to anyone who knows what they are looking at. To everyone else, the Maybach GLS simply looks like the most imposing, most expensive, most authoritative Mercedes SUV on the road. Both responses are entirely intentional. The signature Maybach design element is the two-tone paint finish, with a chrome separation line running the full length of the vehicle at door handle height, dividing the upper and lower body into two distinct color fields. On the obsidian black metallic specification of this car, both fields are black, but the chrome separation line creates a visual interruption that makes the vehicle appear lower and wider than its actual dimensions. The Maybach GLS is already 202 inches long and 79 inches wide. The two-tone treatment makes it appear even more substantial. The Maybach M logo on the C-pillar, the rear vertical body panel behind the rear door, is the most important badge on this vehicle. It is not large. It is not illuminated in standard specification. But to the audience that matters to a Maybach owner, that M communicates more than any specification sheet. The three-pointed Mercedes star on the hood is 30% larger than on a standard GLS. A subtle statement that in the Maybach hierarchy, even the brand badge is treated as a luxury object rather than simply an identification mark. The champagne cooler. I need to give this feature its own dedicated section, because it is both the most theatrical and the most revealing single detail in the entire Maybach GLS 600. Theatrical because it is genuinely spectacular to experience. Revealing because it tells you exactly who Mercedes built this car for and exactly what experience they intended it to provide. Press one button on the rear armrest control panel. The center console lid opens automatically. A motorized platform rises from the refrigerated compartment below, presenting two Maybach-etched crystal champagne flutes in perfect serving position, stems up, bowls down, ready to fill. The compartment beneath maintains a temperature between 35 and 45 degrees Fahrenheit, the precise range for serving champagne at its optimal temperature. The compartment holds two standard 750 ml bottles simultaneously. The crystal glasses carry the Maybach M etching, not printed, not applied, but cut into the crystal by hand at the factory. Each glass is individually inspected before packaging. The weight and balance of these glasses, held while seated in the rear of a moving vehicle, is identical to the glasses used at Michelin 3-star restaurants. Mercedes did not source automotive-grade glassware and brand it with the Maybach name. They sourced restaurant-grade crystal and installed it in an automotive refrigerator. I used the champagne cooler on 3 separate occasions during my review period. On the third occasion, I was in Los Angeles traffic on the 405 freeway at rush hour. I pressed the button, the platform rose, I poured, and I sat in traffic in a state of genuine contentment that the 405 freeway has never previously produced in me. That is what this cooler actually provides, not just champagne, but a complete reframing of what the experience of being in traffic can feel like. The executive rear seats in the 2026 Mercedes Maybach GLS 600 recline to 43.5 degrees from vertical, 3 degrees further than the Bentley Bentayga EWB we reviewed last week, and 5 degrees further than a British Airways first-class seat. At 43.5 degrees of recline, The rear occupant's body is positioned between sitting and lying, creating a posture that physiotherapists identify as the position of minimum spinal compression and maximum muscle relaxation. The rear seat cushion extends forward automatically as the backrest reclines, maintaining support under the thighs as the body's angle changes, preventing the sliding sensation that reduces comfort in conventional reclining seats. The footrest rises to meet the extended leg position simultaneously, so the transition from upright to fully reclined requires only one button press and approximately 12 seconds. The heating function works across 5 zones of each rear seat independently: the lumbar, the seat base, the upper backrest, the side bolsters, and the headrest. Not 2 zones or 3 zones, 5 independent zones per seat. The ventilation system works across 3 zones, providing cooling to the areas that benefit from airflow while maintaining warmth where heating is preferred. No other rear seat at any price in any production vehicle offers this level of thermal personalization. Each rear passenger has their own 11.6-inch MBUX rear tablet, a removable touchscreen that controls their individual seat, their individual climate zone, their individual screen content, and their individual audio balance. The tablet detaches from its mount and can be held in the hand, functioning as a complete vehicle control system and entertainment device simultaneously. This feature alone, in a vehicle that previously required passengers to reach forward to interact with controls, changes the rear seat experience completely. The MBUX Hyperscreen in the 2026 Mercedes Maybach GLS 600 is the most advanced automotive infotainment installation currently available in any production vehicle at any price. 56 inches of curved glass, one single piece, spanning the entire width of the dashboard from the driver's door to the passenger's door. 3 independent screens operating simultaneously beneath that single glass panel, and an AI system that learns the preferences of every driver and passenger who regularly uses the vehicle and begins anticipating their needs before they are expressed. The 17.7-inch central touchscreen is the largest single automotive touchscreen currently in production. It runs MBUX, Mercedes' most advanced software, on a Qualcomm Snapdragon processor that makes the system faster and more responsive than any previous Mercedes infotainment. The natural language voice assistant processes full conversational sentences in real time. I said during my test, "I want it warmer in the rear, but I am comfortable up front. And can you find me a Michelin-starred restaurant within 20 minutes of my current location that has availability tonight?" The system adjusted the rear climate zone, maintained the front zone, and presented 3 restaurant options with availability information within 4 seconds. The passenger screen, 12.3 inches, fully independent from the driver's display, shows content visible only to the passenger through a privacy filter invisible from the driver's eyeline. The passenger can watch video, browse, or manage their own settings without distracting the driver or requiring any driver interaction. In the Maybach GLS 600, the rear passengers have their own tablets. The front passenger has their own screen. The driver has their own screen. Every occupant in this vehicle has a personal display. That level of individual digital service has never previously existed in a production automobile. Burmester Audio System is a German high-fidelity audio company founded in Berlin in 1977 by Dieter Burmester, a musician and engineer who believed that audio reproduction should be so accurate that the listener forgets they are listening to a recording and experiences the original performance directly. Burmester's home audio equipment has been used by recording studios, concert halls, and private collectors who have heard everything the audio world offers and chosen Burmester as their final answer. The Burmester 4D surround sound system in the Maybach GLS 600 uses 30 speakers producing 1590 watts. The 4D designation refers to the 4th dimension of the audio experience, the physical dimension. 4 of the 30 speakers are integrated directly into the seat structures, producing low-frequency vibrations that you feel through your body as well as hear through your ears. The seat speakers are calibrated to the exact resonant frequencies of bass instruments, cellos, double basses, bass guitars, kick drums, creating a physical sensation that complements the acoustic experience. Burmester's engineers spent over 400 hours in the Maybach GLS 600, measuring the acoustic properties of the cabin before placing a single speaker. The result is a system where the listening experience from the rear center seat The position Burmester designates as the primary listening position is acoustically identical to sitting in the sweet spot of a high-end home listening room. I played recordings through this system that I have used to evaluate audio equipment for 11 years. The Burmester in the Maybach GLS 600 is the finest automotive audio system I have heard in any vehicle at any price. The 2026 Mercedes Maybach GLS 600 is powered by a 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine producing 550 horsepower and 538 pound-feet of torque through a 9-speed automatic transmission to all 4 wheels. 0 to 60 arrives in 4.9 seconds, appropriate for a vehicle focused entirely on passenger comfort rather than driver excitement, and entirely sufficient for any real-world situation a Maybach owner will encounter. The engine's contribution to the Maybach experience is primarily acoustic, or more precisely, its contribution is the near-complete absence of acoustics. Mercedes has achieved a level of engine sound isolation in the GLS 600 that means at highway speed, the V8 is not audible from the rear seat under any normal driving condition. Only during hard acceleration, which in a Maybach is an unusual occurrence, does the engine make its presence known. The exhaust note at those moments is deep, authoritative, and brief. Then silence returns. The E-Active body control suspension system, unique to the GLS 600 in the Mercedes lineup, uses a 48-volt actuator at each wheel that can actively push the wheel down or pull it up independently of the other 3 corners. The system reads the road surface through a front-facing stereo camera and predictively adjusts all 4 corners before the wheel reaches the detected imperfection. In practice, this means the vehicle does not react to road surface changes, it anticipates them. Potholes that would register as impacts in any other vehicle are absorbed before the impact occurs. Speed bumps that would disturb rear passengers in a conventional SUV are processed so smoothly that rear passengers often do not register having crossed them. $184,900 against the Rolls-Royce Cullinan at $345,000. $160,000 separating them. Let me give you the most honest comparative verdict in this channel's history, because this comparison deserves complete honesty. The Rolls-Royce Cullinan wins on handcraft. The leather work, the wood veneer matching, the Starlight headliner, these are produced at a standard that Mercedes, at any price, does not currently replicate. The Cullinan wins on brand prestige. The Rolls-Royce name carries a cultural weight that the Maybach badge, for all its excellence, has not yet accumulated to the same degree. The Cullinan wins on exclusivity. Approximately 23 Cullinans are produced annually worldwide versus, significantly, more Maybach GLS units. The Maybach GLS 600 wins on technology. The MBUX Hyperscreen is a generation ahead of anything Rolls-Royce offers. It wins on audio. The Burmester 4D system is the finest automotive audio I have reviewed. It wins on the champagne cooler, which sounds trivial until you have experienced it in traffic and understood what it represents. It wins on individual passenger technology, the rear tablets, the 5-zone seat heating, the independent screens. And it wins on value, delivering 85% of the Cullinan's luxury experience at 54% of the Cullinan's price. For a buyer choosing between these 2 vehicles, the question is simple. Do you want the finest traditional luxury money can buy, the Cullinan? Or do you want the finest modern luxury money can buy, the Maybach? Both answers are correct. Both vehicles are extraordinary. But for 2026, the modern answer is $160,000 less expensive. And that difference buys a great deal of champagne. UC Car Review 2026 Mercedes Maybach GLS 600. 9.5 out of 10. The most intelligent ultra-luxury SUV purchase in America right now. Subscribe, because next week we find out what the next $185,000 buys in a completely different category.